When you're advising a client on whether or not to buy a house first before they sell their house, or whether to sell their house first before they buy their house, you as the agent can offer them 4 options. Now, when you're hosting an open house and a buyer walks in the door and the buyer says, hey, Lowell, nice to meet you, but we're just looking. We got a house to sell first.
Yeah.
That's a very, very common objection that you get when you're hosting an open house and a buyer walks in the door. So what I want to do today is I want to show you a way to build rapport quickly with that person and offer them something very valuable that they don't know about. And that is a quick consultation to help them understand what the 4 options that they actually have are. Now, if you have a buyer that walks into an open house or calls on the phone or wherever that is open-minded to listening to you for just a minute, you can be very valuable and impactful in a short period of time if you can get this under control and you can practice this little approach very, very dialed in. And by the way, as an agent, new or experienced, you should know this anyway, because this is part of your job.
Right.
But I love this. I call it the 4 options approach, because 99% of the time, if you can get a client to listen to you or a lead to listen to you and just be open to listening to you through your rapport building, they sit down when you start this conversation because they really start to listen. And because 99% of them do not know that they have 4 options. And when you are the one that presents the 4 options to the client, they are indebted to you and they're very, very likely to be working with you simply because you have helped them to really understand the process and really understand their options, and you've become an expert quickly. Okay? So it sounds like this. And what I want to do is I want to lay out the 4 options. So here's my approach before we do the role play. My approach in this situation, you walk in, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Logan. Hey, you're Lowell. Nice to meet you too. You know, what brings you in today? Looking for houses, having fun? Just what are you killing time? What's going on
right now?
Just window shop. We got a house to sell. Yeah, sure. I understand. Hey, I tell you what, take a look at the house, have a good time, enjoy yourself. Before you go, give me like 2 or 3 minutes on your way out and I'll let you know about something that you might not know about. If you are just looking right now, I understand. I totally understand, by the way. If you're just looking, I'm not going to bug you too much. I'll let you go. I'll disarm you by not trying to kill you right away and eat you and da-da-da. But what I will say is, look, if you guys are just starting out in the process and you have a house to sell first, I understand that you're not going to buy a house today. And I'll just stay out of your hair. But I do want you to know, if you're in that situation, you guys actually have 4 options in terms of your overall strategy here. And you might not know every detail about all 4 options. So before you go, just swing by and grab me by the shoulder, and I'll break down those 4 options with you in less than 5 minutes. And when you walk out the door, if nothing else, you guys will feel much more confident about your options than you might be walking in the door. And I think that'll be really good for you. Okay, and I don't mind doing it. It'll be fun. Nobody else is here. We're not doing anything anyway. It'll give me a chance to get, just to feel like I did something today. And for, just making a joke. But for you, as the buyer walking into a stranger talking to you right away, hopefully that little communication that I just tried to do on the fly here, hopefully that convinces you that, hey, you know what, 4 or 5 minutes talking to this guy is worth it. By the way, I like to make a joke and say, I'd make you a deal. On your way out, grab me by the shoulder and give me 2 or 3 minutes. There's a pack of M&Ms on the counter. I guarantee you by the time you got through half that pack, we'll be done talking. Okay? Or something like that. Give them some kind of present, some kind of food or water or cupcake or candy or cookie. It's nice to have a cookie because you can say, hey, look, by the time you're halfway done with this cookie, you'll probably be done. You know what I mean? And so that way you can build a situation where they feel, hey, this guy's not just going to waste my time. He's going to be quick. Right. And that's what I want anyway, because we're coming in and out. We don't want to sit here for 45 minutes. But this guy can 3 minutes. I can eat a cookie while I'm waiting. Or my kid can have a little pack of Skittles while we're waiting. Right. That's a really important part of rapport building is having something. Typically, I love food to give them. I love food.
Both of us do.
Yeah, who doesn't? Also, by the way, when you're doing an open house, I like to have a setup. I like to have some presentation materials. I like to have a little table lined up. Nothing too crazy, but I like to have my little buyer roadmap here, my seller roadmap here. And I like to have a situation where the candy's in the middle and the buyers walk in, they realize they have an opportunity here. There's an option. There's something being offered to them. And if I can use my talent to build the rapport quickly and explain what the offer is in a way that's not intimidating or off-putting, a lot of times the people will be very receptive. Yeah. Even somebody who says, Logan, we're just looking. Okay. And I want to have a little caveat here too. There's two types of people that walk into an open house that are unrepresented. There are people that are nice and then people that are not nice. If people are not nice and not respectful and not open to you, just wish them best and don't waste your time, because you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be rejected. Yeah. Okay. So analyze who you're dealing with when they come in. If they're not nice and respectful to you, just shepherd them along and move on with your day. Go, that's my opinion. I don't go after trying to help people who are not nice and respectful.
I concur with that opinion.
But also that's not as rare. I mean, that's pretty rare. Most people that come in, when they say, hey, we're just looking, we have a house to sell, they're actually really nice people. Yeah. But a lot of times they're tired of walking into open houses and being bombarded with offers from other agents.
Yeah, because they seem like the more, and this goes along with what we're talking about here, they probably seem like the people that are taking their time, being strategic. Yep. So giving them a strategy like this is beneficial.
Exactly. Right on. And there are a lot of times they're nice. They're just putting up a little bit of a wall for whatever reason. Maybe they've been bugged already earlier in the day. Maybe they just are being honest with you that they're not ready and they feel like you're going to try to sell them a house right away, and they don't want that. And that's very common. It's very common human nature for those kind of walls to be up. So you as the agent, you need to overcome that objection using your talent, using your rapport, and disarming them by saying, hey, look, I completely understand that's the situation that you're in today. Thank you for letting me know that. Okay, I'm not going to give you a hard time about buying a house. But before you go, give me a couple minutes and I'll break down the options that you guys have, in this situation that you find yourself in. So in the next couple of months or next couple of years, whenever you decide to get ready, I'll help you make a plan right now that gets you ready 6 months from now, 9 months from now. Okay. And then you gauge the feedback, and a lot of times they're very excited about it. And that's what they should be. They should be excited to hear something that they don't know about what their options are in terms of what their ultimate goal is, which is what they're starting to investigate. Right. So here it is. Lowell sits down. He's eating a cupcake. Kid's eating some Skittles. They got my attention, or I have their attention, even though they're still like, who the heck is this guy? And so I got to move fast. But I say, look, here's the deal. Here's the cool thing. Also, by the way, you can do this in your buyer and your seller consultations at your office too. So this can happen anywhere. But I like to do it at an open house because it's one of those few ways where you can really, really build rapport and position yourself as an expert quickly in a way that people walking into the open house otherwise wouldn't want to deal with you. They will deal with you because this is important to them. Right. Lowell, you have 4 options. Okay. Or you may have as many as 4 options, I should say. Your first option is to buy a house first and then to sell your house after that. Your second option is to sell your house first and then buy a house after that. Your third option is to buy a house contingent on the sale of your house. And then the fourth option is to sell your house contingent on your ability to buy a new house. Okay. So those are the 4 options that anybody in your situation has to analyze. Now, one of the things that we will need to do is we need to determine whether or not you actually would qualify to buy a house and close on it without selling your house first. Because you either can qualify or you can't. If you can't qualify for that, then it's a moot point and we strike that option. Right. If you can qualify to do that, then we have to decide if you are willing to or not willing to. And a lot of people say, well, we would never do that. And I say, look, I understand, but before you say you were never willing to do that, let me show you the benefits and the risks of each one of these options, because you guys as a couple here, you're going to need to decide which option is best for you. There is no right or wrong answer. My job as your agent is to help you understand the upsides and the risks of each option so you can make the best decision for your client. The benefits of buying first and selling second are very clear. The risks as well. The benefit of buying first is, number one, you get to take your time. Right. You're not rushed into a buying decision because there's nothing pushing that decision. So you as the buyers, like you are now, walking through an open house, you get to take your time. You get to wait. You get to be patient. You get to wait for the houses that you like. And then when you find one that you like, then you make the offer. You're not in a rush. Also, another benefit of buying first and selling second is the offer that you make to buy that house in this competitive seller's market is not contingent on the sale of your house, which means it's much more attractive. The third benefit of buying first and selling second is when you close on the house that you're buying, you get to move in at your own pace. Nice and slow. You don't have to worry about rushing in to get in there because you have to meet somebody else's deadline. Right. Those are 3 really, really nice benefits of buying first and selling second. If your lender says, Lowell, yes, you guys qualify to buy and get that second mortgage on that new house before you sell, then you know you have this option. If your lender says that you can't qualify to do that, then you don't have the option. We strike option 1. Okay. Now the downside or the risk of buying first and selling second is that potential to have 2 mortgages on 2 houses for an uncertain period of time. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay. Well, actually, we'll come back to that. I want to circle back to that at the end because there's a good way to offset that.
Okay.
But I just want to go through the benefits and the drawbacks of each option. Okay? Because then what I might say is, what I might say before I move on is I'd say, Lowell, actually, it's not as risky as it sounds, and I can break that down for you here later if you'd like to see. And it's really not that big a deal. It's something that you need to consider, but it's not as intimidating and overwhelming as a lot of people think when they first start looking at it. And I'll show you what I mean. You'll be surprised. The second option is to sell first and buy second. Now, obviously, selling first is a great option in terms of your ability to be patient on the price. Also to sell and close out on the deal so you get your money back. So that, you know, you don't have a mortgage. You don't have that risk of 2 mortgages. And you can be patient. The downside or the risk of selling first and buying second is very simple. Once you sell and close, you either have to find a house immediately or you have to find a house in between, a place to live in between. So there's some inconvenience there.
Yeah. Huge inconvenience.
Huge inconvenience. So selling first is good because you minimize your financial exposure. But then buying second means you either have to rush to buy something immediately. So the day your offer is accepted on your house, you need to start making offers on other houses and quickly try to coordinate those 2 to match.
Right.
Or if you're going to go move in with your mom and dad.
Which a lot of people don't want to do.
A lot of people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So really the only reason that you would sell first, buy second is if you had a really stable place to go and you didn't mind a transition period. Now, of course, if you do that, if you buy first, close, and then, sell first, close, and then move out somewhere else, it also gives you the best of both worlds where you can be patient on your buy side.
Yes.
You don't have to be rushed.
Yes.
So that's a benefit of this option. Okay. So there's some drawbacks. The main drawback is that you got to have it in limbo for a while, but you minimize the chance, you eliminate the chance of having 2 mortgages, and you also still have that ability to be patient. Let's just pause right here. Isn't this great?
Yeah.
I mean, a buyer sitting down at your open house is listening to this and really, really getting it.
Yeah.
And they're attracted to you now because you're helping them understand.
Right.
Keep going.
And go ahead.
Buy first, contingent on sale is your third option. So what this means, Lowell, is that let's say that you walked into this open house and you loved it and you wanted to buy this house.
Yeah.
But you either couldn't qualify to get a mortgage on this house without selling your house, or you refused to do that.
Right.
Your offer would then be contingent on your ability to sell your house.
Right.
The benefit to that is that you won't have 2 mortgages. The downside to that is that your offer is not going to be accepted. It's very, very unlikely to be accepted in this particular market. Because if this seller of this house that you're in right now that you want to buy, there's very, very likely to be more offers on this deal, on this house.
Right.
And that means that your offer that's contingent on the sale of your house is going to be way down at the bottom of the list of appeal just for that reason. Can you understand that? Why that would be less exciting? Yeah. Okay, sure. But so that's the downside. The downside of buying first contingent on the sale of your house is it's very unattractive to a seller in a seller's market. The upside is that you're making sure you don't have that 2 payments twice. Okay. So that's what option 3 is. Now, by the way, if you cannot qualify to get a mortgage while you have your existing mortgage, this is one of your only options. Your only option is option 2, sell first then buy, or buy contingent on sell.
Right.
So now at least we know that. So we need to get to a lender and find out. But let's just keep going. Your fourth and final option, okay, is to sell first, contingent on your ability to buy. So what that means is we get your house ready for sale, we market it, we find an acceptable offer, we accept that offer, but it's contingent now on your ability to go out within a certain period of time and finding a house to buy, which is great because it protects you from being homeless, but it also limits you because you can only buy what's on the market at that time and you have to make a decision very quickly. And then you have to find a way to get your offer accepted in this difficult seller's market.
Right.
So option 4, sell contingent on buy, is tough because you might not be in a position where you're being patient to buy a house that you really want. You're being forced to buy a house quickly, or you're going to lose the sale of your house because you can't find a house to buy, which is a bummer.
And then especially in a super competitive market like this where there's low inventory, like
that's not cool.
Do you want to settle? Some people don't like settling. Yep. Right. They want to take their time and make that decision and find the right house.
Right. So now we've laid out the 4 options that you as a seller, as a buyer and a seller have. One of the things that we would need to do, like I said earlier, is we need to find out whether or not you qualify to get a mortgage based on your credit, income, assets, and debt. Your lender tells you this, by the way, not me. My job is to help you find out the answer and then to execute the strategy that you and we all decide is right for you. But one of the first things that you would need to do is go to see a lender to find out whether you qualify or not. And I can help you do that. I can refer you. And as your agent, of course, I can help coordinate that and make it happen and help you interview lenders and da-da-da-da. It's actually step 2 of the home buying process after step 1, which is to hire an agent, which by now you're actually kind of interviewing me to be your agent. As you can see, I'm ready to go.
You're doing well so far.
Thanks. So let's just quickly, and then I got 2 bites of cookie left and we'll shut this down. By then now, hopefully they're not.
At this point, I might
anymore.
be in a coffee. Yeah.
I can tell you this, agents that are listening, if you got this far, you have a client now almost every time because they're so grateful and they're learning so much. So this is what I would say in conclusion, because this is what I wanted to talk about. We take you to a lender today. I can call Joe and he can get you pre-approved and he'll tell you whether you can or you can't. If you can't qualify to get a second mortgage, then we just know that our options are going to be sell first, then buy, or buy contingent on sell. So options 2 or 3. But let's say that Joe says, you know what? Yeah, your credit profile looks great. Your income and debts and your ratios are great. You could actually qualify for the house that you want to buy and the mortgage that you need to get that house while still carrying your existing mortgage. A lot of people, number 1, are surprised by that. They don't realize that.
Yeah.
And number 2, there's a lot of creative ways to do it. You know, you can have the spouse's name on the mortgage and not the husband's, or vice versa, or whatever. So there's ways that you can to make it happen. Now, again, as an agent, I'm not being pushy. I'm just helping solve problems.
Right.
Because I'm assuming that you're going to find a house that you love, and my job is to help make that happen for you and to sell your house. Okay. So here's how it could go if the lender tells you that you can qualify. Now, this is what buyers and sellers need. This is what clients need to know so they can make an informed decision that they don't know when they walk in.
Right.
Sounds like this. Let's say that you find a house today that you love and you want to buy it.
Yeah.
And as your agent, I'm advising you that if you make that offer contingent on the sale of your house, you have 0 chance of getting it. But if you don't, you have a very high likelihood of getting it. Okay. Which is usually the case right now. Then you guys would have to make a decision whether or not you were comfortable with the risk associated with the potential of carrying 2 mortgages. So this is what the risk is. Let me lay out the risk for you so you understand what it is, and then you can make an informed decision whether or not to take the risk. You follow?
Following.
Sounds like this. Your typical transaction closes in between 30 and 45 days from the day that you make an offer. Okay. Let's just use this as an example and say we would make an offer today and our offer would close for this purchase of this house that you love and want to buy real bad 30 days from now. Okay. 30 days from now, you'd close on the deal. 30 days from that day would be your first mortgage payment that was due on that house. Okay.
See, that's one thing a lot of people don't know about.
Yes. As you, as a lender, as a mortgage guy, know that mortgage payments are charged in arrears, which means that you go 30 days in your house, then you get charged for that, for enjoying that time. So how that applies here is on day 0, on day 1, you make an offer. 30 days later, you close on it. 30 days later, you get your first mortgage payment on the house. 30 days after that, you get your second one. 30 days after that, you get your third one. Okay. So what that means is try to follow. This is hard with numbers, but what that means is on day 1, you buy, on day 30, you close, on day 60, you have your first payment, day 90, your second payment, day 120, you have your third mortgage payment on the new house. Okay. So here's how you analyze, and this is how I structure my conversation with my clients. I say, look, in the event, Lowell, that we want to buy this house, our offer is accepted today, and we close 30 days from today. In the event that it takes us 4 months, 120 days from today, to list, market, and sell your house and close on the sale of your house. If it takes me as your agent and you as the seller 120 days to get that done, that means that you would have 2 mortgage payments on 2 houses 3 times. Could you sustain that if you had to? Okay. In the worst case scenario, not worst case, but in an unlikely scenario that it took us 4 months to sell and close the house, that would mean that you'd have 2 payments on 2 houses 3 times. Could you survive? Would you be okay? In other words, do you want this house bad enough for that worst case scenario? And usually they say, well, yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be good, but we could do it. We love this house. We want this house so bad. We'd be willing to take that chance. And then I say, look, in order for that to actually happen, that means that your listing would have had to take me longer to sell than any listing I've had in the last 3 years. Now, if you're brand new, you can't say that. But if you're experienced or you have some track record, you can. Right. Or you can say something like, look, the average days on market today in our market is 6.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not promising you your house is going to sell in 6 days, but unless there's a major shift in the market in the next 30 or 60 days, we are very likely to be able to list, market, sell, and close on your house in much, much less than 120 days. I'm very confident in my ability to do that for you. Here's how it would look. On day 1, we make an offer that gets accepted. On day 2, we start prepping your house for sale. Okay. We start prepping your house. We clean it. We stage it. We declutter it. We neutralize it. We get it ready to go. We bring in the professional photographer. We get the stager in there. We build the listing out. We do it beautiful. We get it ready to go. So you know what? You're going to be packing anyway.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's get rocking.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. By the way, while that's going on, you're doing your loan application, your home inspection, your appraisal, you're getting your loan approval, you're getting your title work. You're getting everything going on for the house that you're trying to buy. So we can do this simultaneously. Okay. Then you actually have some choices to make. You can list your house while you're still in it, or you can wait until you sell and close and move out. And I can list it vacant. Either way, it's up to you. But if you're worried about the 2 payments, two payments going on three times, no problem. I'll list your house on day 5. And that gives me 25 days to market your house and get an accepted offer before you even close on your other house. You're going to know where you're at by then.
Yeah.
Most likely we're going to accept an offer in that 25 days. That offer is going to close within that next 30 days. So you probably won't even have 2 payments once.
Right.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. And especially for, and I'm putting myself in this equation because this is something that I've been considering a lot, where, how do I approach this? Do I sell first and buy because we're looking to upgrade? Or do I do vice versa? Or do I do contingent? Now this right here, because the way you explain it to me, it's like, okay, like I probably wouldn't have to worry about that, paying 2 mortgage payments at once. Cause again, just from the last couple of years of people I've talked to that have either upgraded or have purchased a new house, that was the big thing for them. Is like, oh man, it sucked paying 2 mortgage payments for 2 to 3 months.
Let's just look at yours real quick. Your house, the first thing that I would advise you to do is just go to a lender. Right there. There's a lender right there.
Yeah, right across the hallway.
Hey Joe, can you get me pre-approved to buy a house on that street for that price right now with the current mortgage I have? Yeah, you're looking good, buddy. You just barely qualify. Your ratios are just right inside of that. Okay, now we know. Or he says, nope, nah, you're a little too tight, can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you know. But let's just say he says, yes, you can. Then you come back to your agent. Obviously, you're an agent, but you come back to an agent and say, hey, guess what? I got good news. I can buy a house. And I say, great. I just found one. Here's a great one. And you're like, dang it. And you did that quick. And I said, I know, I'm good. Here's this beautiful house over here on Sylvan Lane. It's perfect. It's perfect for you. And your wife loves it and you love it and you want to buy it. So you say, okay, Logan, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And I say, Lowell, this is what you do. Go make an offer on that house. Make a great offer, a strong offer. And do not make a contingent on the sale of your house. I won't let you down. Here's what it will look like. You make an offer. They accept it. 30 days later, you close. Tomorrow, we start cleaning your house, getting it ready for sale. 3 days later, we list it. If we price it right and we prepare it properly and we market it correctly, we're very likely to get an offer on that house, especially your house where it is. With the size, the price range, and the condition of your house, will sell quickly. I know that because I'm a real estate expert in this market, and here's some quantifiable data points to show you. Here's 26 sales in the last 90 days of houses similar to yours that have averaged selling in 13 days. And that's a big part of it.
In my neighborhood, how many houses from this brokerage?
Yeah, a ton of them.
So we have a lot of good data.
So I'm giving you, as my client now, I'm giving you data to back up what I'm saying. I'm not just blowing smoke. That's important too. It's an important point here. I'm giving data. Look, and I wouldn't say this if I couldn't give data to support it. Right. I'd say, hey man, this is kind of risky. Your average days on market's 165 days. Yeah. This is crazy. Don't do it. Or are you willing to take that risk? Yeah. Instead, you say, look, here's what will probably happen based on the data that we're seeing. I can't predict the shift in the market. I never know what's going to happen. But you know, that stuff happens slowly, not immediately. So you'd probably be good. So let's go make an offer. Let's get it accepted. Let's rock. You say, okay, good. Don't let me down. I say, I won't let you down. We get the house listed for sale. You actually sell it, get an accepted offer on day 10. We'll just make that offer contingent on the closing of the sale of your house, which will happen 20 days from now anyway, which will still be inside of the buyer's period of time where they're doing stuff on your house. So it won't be a big deal. Okay. But you see how it all starts with A, you as the buyer client understanding what your options are. Right. And then B, my job as your agent explaining you what the risks are. And then C, you get to make a decision how to execute. And I'm guiding you through this process.
Yeah, you show me the risk versus reward on all of it too, because especially for some people, they're very, risk adverse. They don't want to take that risk, but others are like, you know what, let's do it. Right. So you're empowering them to make that decision with the data that you're giving them.
And that is what creating informed and confident buyer and seller clients is all about. And that's what the modern agent does.
100%.
Go get them.